It's Friday, my dudes.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. IronRealmmedia is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
You got that damn right. Thanks, Stephen. Happy Friday, TGIF. Welcome to the IRONWORX, streaming live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, kicking off at 4 a.m. Central. We are sans Zachary this morning. He was working late last night and is going to try to sleep in the first half and probably hop on whilst he gets ready for work again this morning. So you can expect him to be here a little bit later on. In the meantime, we do have Walter, and joined by our good friend Unkuleleku Duma. Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
All right. If you say so.
Oh, all right. I would type to all you lovely people in chat, but right now there's a bit of a blockage in the way, as you see.
Need more fiber.
Yeah, without a doubt. And she is so comfortable. If you could see the look of contentment and purring that's happening right now, so I can't move her. So I'll type to you lovely folks there in a few minutes when she decides to relocate, which she inevitably does. Right now, she's pretty relaxed. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Oh, good.
So, Josh.
Huh.
Remember that little story I was telling you about one of our police commissioners implicating politicians in terms of corruption and political killings? And he had to go now to a commission where he was bringing his own water because he didn't trust anyone. Remember that little story?
I think I do. Yes, sir.
So one of the findings from this commission, because now they've decided to televise the whole thing and all the proceedings, one of the implicated people by the police commissioner is a gentleman called, let me just find it again, Natim Tetwa, who, at the time when this was going on, he was the police minister. And he told our commissioner that he needed to drop certain cases, and obviously he refused, and that's when now he's come out and revealed all of this. Now, this oak was the police minister, and then afterwards he became the Minister of Arts and Culture, and then after that, Sports and Arts and Culture. And he was serving as an ambassador in France for the last 2 years. Now, with all of this coming out, they put him on the docket because he needed to come and give evidence because now he's implicated. So what's happened during the course of this week is apparently this guy has committed suicide in France, where he booked himself into a hotel without his normal security as an ambassador of this country is supposed to have. Booked himself in this hotel without security, managed to open a window from this top-notch hotel where the windows are specifically designed that you can't open it more than a few inches. Apparently, he used a scissors to open the window, jumped out, fell 22 stories into the courtyard, and died. There is no CCTV footage. Our country has not sent its own investigators to investigate any of this. They've just taken it at face value because the wife said he sent a message saying he's sorry, and his phone was found in some park, and his body has not even been released. Yet apparently he's dead and he committed suicide, and our country is just willing to accept the French, this French story about how this has happened, and no CCTV footage, and no coroner report yet. How is that?
It's a good question. That's just bad luck all around, sounds like.
Yeah, coincidence after coincidence. So yeah, the country's up in arms with this whole thing. I just know when we have elections again, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. The amount of corruption that has been exposed lately, and they've just decided to televise the whole thing for the whole public to see. There's another commission going on where they stole billions of rands that were supposed to go to this hospital, and they were funneling the funds to their own little companies and not providing any of the resources to the hospital. So not only did they steal the money from the hospital, but people died because they didn't have certain things at the hospital. And all of a sudden, these guys are feeling sick after testifying, and they've postponed proceedings until the 13th. I bet you they're not going to that public hospital. They get to go to a private hospital now that they're feeling sick. So a revolution, maybe, is afoot. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we have rashes of that over here a lot in our country, where there's people just decide to off themselves for whatever reason.
No, you guys
Surely
are
not
experts. They
politically,
even make sure by shooting themselves twice in the head.
You know, you got to sometimes. You have to make sure. You don't want to mess up. I mean, last thing you want to do is be holding on like some life support system, aggravating everybody with your
Yeah, definitely.
needs and stuff. Yeah. Oh, madam, I'm going to have to put you down. You are just in the way.
Anyways, what's up with you guys? Any news on your side?
I mean, there's always something happening I don't pay attention to, I'm sure. We haven't, I don't think we've heard anything about your gentleman there, but definitely, there's always something afoot in our country. I think go ahead.
No, I was just saying, during the apartheid era in our country, this guy had ties to MK, so he's very friendly with Russia. And there was even an arms deal that we did with Russia where he was directly involved. If this guy has just disappeared, he's probably in Russia with all the evidence to sink all of these other politicians. He's basically blackmailing them. If you stop looking after me, I'm releasing all of this shit.
Come on, baby. You got Let me relocate her. Hang on a second.
Is there still a big fallout there with Charlie Kirk?
I mean, there's fallout blowing in all sorts of directions.
I saw the latest now. They're saying that's not the guy that shot him. The guy in the CCTV footage and the guy that they caught. And I didn't really read the whole thing. I was just reading the headline. I just said, oh, okay.
Yeah, again, it's all just weird fishiness that obfuscates and confuses the narrative, so nobody really knows what the hell's going on, what the actual truth of the matter is. And that makes it a little bit difficult.
So I guess the people are still at odds and they're still fighting.
I mean, this is America. We're always going to be at odds with each other for some reason or another. And as a result, we'll be fighting. But yeah. You got Antifa.
Can you imagine how cool America would be if they just stopped bullying the world and just said, fuck it, we're going to look after our own people, fuck everybody else. You know how great your country would be with all the money it already has?
Well, I mean,
maybe.
Isn't that conceivably what our good Uncle Donald is trying to do, right? Make sure we're just taking care of our own country and moving out to rabble rousers.
How is he doing that when he's backing Israel?
Oh, see, now you're making it complicated now. I was just trying to be simple about it. I saw a story go by about, like, who is it? Damn it. Oh, David Cross. David Cross is giving, like, all kind of comedians shit for some kind of comedy festival that they're all playing over in, shit, I don't want to misquote this. Let me find it. I know I dropped it. I say I did, you know. I try to drop stuff and sometimes it doesn't go through. Yeah, no, it's not here. I knew it would. For some reason, I knew that story would be one that did not pop through. Is this it? Without a picture? This may be it. No, that's not it. Damn it. My assistant here is sure making my show stuff this morning very difficult. Oh, lady. Here, you know what the easier thing to do? To pick up my phone and use it, because she's just not letting me use my computer. So he's calling out comedians for performing at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. It's oh man, are you kidding me? I have to frickin', of course I would have to subscribe to get that story. Why would I not have to do that? Yeah, all I can get to come up that I can get to without it being a paid thing is that it's a video, and that's not helping me. Here we go. This one might work. So this is an open letter apparently he's put out there in the world for his disgust at his fellow comedians for participating in the Riyadh Comedy Festival. I'm deeply disappointed in the whole gross thing. How can any of us take you seriously anymore? He has become the latest comedian to criticize his fellow comics for performing in Saudi Arabia's comedy festival. It's being billed as the world's largest comedy festival and now includes more than 50 comedians, such as Bill Burr, shocking, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Kevin Hart, Whitney Cummings, a bunch of people. But yeah, Dave wasn't happy. I am deeply disgusted. The people I admire with unarguable talent would condone this that word, I can't say this early, totalitarian fiefdom for what? A fourth house? A boat? More sneakers? We can never take seriously anything these comedians complain about unless it's them complaining that we don't support enough torture and mass execution. Anyway, so yeah, he's apparently calling them all out on this one.
What's his problem? Why is he calling people out?
Because they're all performing at a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, and he's not down with their political agenda, apparently.
Oh.
He's always been very politically vocal, but usually it's in his comedy sets. It's not like literally calling out, like this. I'm trying to see where
I wonder if a black comedian...
You're performing for literally the most oppressive regime on earth. This is truly the definition of blood money. Your hypocrisy will forever be noted. They're all bitching about cancel culture and freedom of speech and all that shit. Now you don't get to talk about that ever again. Now we've seen the contract you had to sign. So yeah, he's giving them all shit for doing this, bowing down and being politically whatever. I don't know. I knew that was out there happening.
Walter, if you are a comic and it's your job basically, and you get invited to perform for a bunch of Globers, would you go?
Well, of course I would. And I would use my comedy set to instill all kind of questions into their little mind.
Like most people.
But if I was a bazillionaire comedian who was very influential out there in the masses, and I was asked to perform at, say, medical convention or a pharmacy festival, something that I don't believe in any way and have often talked out about in my talking, my whatever, then I would definitely not do that. But
why not?
I have because why would I do it?
Well, put it in your set. All the things that they've done that you disagree with, you put it as a joke in your set.
I doubt those guys that he's calling out are going to go over there and call out their hosts. I just doubt that. Very few people call out the people that are supporting what they're doing. And one of the few back in the day was Chappelle, who used to do it. I don't know. He got off of it, and then he started doing it again. So, but I mean, to me, it's always been a thing with comedy where, that's what it's supposed to do until you get to a certain point. And then once that money is just all the concern is, that's when the comedy shifts to being very banal and very middle of the road and very not confrontational any longer. There's been a few people who got the big money and their whole attitude and sets have changed over the years. Okay, lady, you've got to get off my mouse. I'm going to have to move her again. For all the good it did, you see she's right back where she was.
Oh.
But yeah, the idea of using comedy to change people's minds is what it is. That's always been a part of why I've appreciated the comedians that I've appreciated. That's why I like David Cross, because the stuff he's put out there has usually been something that pushes the edge of the accepted whatever government line, or spiritual religion, any of that. I mean, he's always come out against regimes and against organized religion. Just go watch Mr. Show for a couple of hours and you'll see the stuff that dude's about. Go watch some of his comedy sets and you'll see what he's about. The fact that he's calling these people out doesn't shock me in the least. He's actually got a pretty decent little podcast out there that I can't recall the name of right now. But if you dig his vibe, he's definitely got a lot of it out there right now. Damn it, I can't remember. I had the name almost right there and it's gone. Leo, baby, I love you. You've got to get down.
Josh, would you go if you were a comic? To a Globus thing?
I don't see why not. Their money spends just as good as any other.
I wonder if a black comic would go to a KKK rally.
It's a good question.
Right, let's see.
All right, so just to dig a bit deeper, I went and found his actual deal. So here's some of the other stuff he's saying in his diatribe about this disgust. These are people I admire. I read that part. Hang on. We can never again take their complaints seriously unless it's complaining about how we don't support torture and mass execution of journalists and peace activists here in the States. I mean, that's it. You have a funny bit about how you don't like Yankee candles or airport lounges. Okay, great. But you're also cool with murder and our public caning of women who were raped and by having the audacity to be raped were guilty of engaging in adultery. Got any bits on that? These are some of my heroes. Now, look, some of you folks don't stand for anything, so you don't have any credibility to lose. But my God, Dave and Louie and Bill and Jim, clearly you guys don't give a shit about what the rest of us think, but how can any of us take you seriously ever again? All of your bitching about cancel culture and freedom of speech and all that shit, done. You don't get to talk about it ever again. So yeah, that's kind of where he's coming from on this whole thing.
Okay.
Like, I was shocked when I saw Bill Burr's name in that list myself, because I definitely wouldn't expect him to just bow down and take the blood money, but apparently he is too.
I've got another headline here. It says, woke American Pope, Leo blesses a block of ice. In bizarre climate change stunt.
Sherry, did you write down Pope blessed ice? Please tell me you did.
Wow. Global warming, eh?
Wow, that's too great. Too great. I'm trying to get back to the chat here with my assistant helping me the whole way. Baby, you got to get down, sweetie. Come on, I'm down. I'm down. I know.
How big is the Catholic Church in America?
No idea.
I mean, big enough so that my whole state is Catholic.
I would think it's like a state-by-state thing. Because when you see movies, you don't really see a lot of Catholic churches. You see, like, I don't know what you call these churches with all the black people singing and dancing.
That would most often be Baptist, Southern Baptist, but I'm just being very profiling by saying that, so I could probably not do that.
I was going to call it the club, but I thought that was profiling, so I didn't want to say that.
You don't want to go there either.
So you're saying in your state, everyone's pretty much Catholic?
Oh, dude, this state, not only is it pretty much Catholic, so as a kid, I came here for part of 4th and all of 5th grade, and they would get out for the most bizarre times of, like, these, like, Lent, and like, what the fuck is Lent? You know, I'm coming in here from a school that had holidays of, like, normalcy, like, you know, Christmas and things like that. We didn't have Lent. holidays, times off. We didn't get off for Mardi Gras, which is tied into the whole Lent celebration thing, the time of Fat Tuesday and all that. That's like statewide. Everybody does that. Even up north, they do that, even though it's more of a southern Louisiana thing. Even up north, they're called parishes, which are based around church areas. You know what I'm saying? It's not divided. We're divided into parishes rather than counties, like every other state in the Union has counties. We have parishes. What else is different here?
You still suffer the effects of Napoleon, do you not?
We do live under Napoleonic law, which is insane. If you'd have to deal with any kind of like contracts or anything, literally building a house. I mean, anything is affected by the Napoleonic law that we still exist under. And yeah, it's all about this state having the Catholic history and remaining regime that's in place here. Yeah, without a doubt. Now, that's why when you were saying that about not seeing much Catholic, I mean, yeah, Catholic Church, and I mean, there's whole, like any movie that has anything to do with exorcism, not just The Exorcist, but like Emily, whatever, that's all Catholic Church. That show, that real good show that came on a few years ago, what was it, with the black guy and the chick, Evil, all about the Catholic Church. So yeah, it's definitely, you know, I guess regional based in a way, but here it's like overreaching in all aspects. I'm trying to type as I'm talking, which is, you know, difficult when you're not coordinated. As I am not, but I finally got her to stay down. I'm trying to get her type in.
Your Catholic churches should hold a lot of influence in terms of the politics of the region. Since I assume the politicians are also Catholic anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a lot to do with it too, you know. For instance, in the whole Kratom area, we did everything we could here in our state to prevent the ban from happening, for them to look at it logically, to do the research on it, to find out what it's really all about and how it really helps people. And it's not just a gas station synthetic, whatever, you know. And that never even got through to these people. But just 2-3 days ago, we all sent in our stories and our explanation of the help we've gotten from Kratom throughout our lives and different injuries and different whatever. And we stopped it in Ohio. Not Ohio. Was it Ohio? I'll have to look back. But yeah, we just stopped it in another state because they actually sat down and listened to reason and sense and decided to like let people take responsibility for their own health and pain management rather than just treat them as criminals, which is what my state decided. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with the pharmacy influence in this state. I'm sure it has to do with the Catholic people, you know, influencing it in our government and et cetera. It's really, I often feel that we're in just the most backwards ass state there is, bar none. Even worse than Mississippi. Yeah, Mississippi may be very rural and very whatever. Yeah, I still think we're below them.
Okay, and I was reading yesterday about the government shutdown and how Obamacare is at the center of all the government shutdown, and I didn't understand it. So what is Obamacare? I know it has something to do with your hospitals and medical care and all of that. So what was life like before Obamacare, and what is life like now with Obamacare? What is it?
So before Obamacare, you used to be able to look yourself in the mirror and think, do I want health insurance or not? And if you decided that you didn't want health insurance, you went upon your life and lived your life like any other normal person. And if something happened, you had to pay out of pocket. It got to be real expensive. So it was a good idea to try to keep yourself healthy. Now, you don't get to ask yourself that question. The government just takes the taxes and says everybody gets to have health insurance for the right
Don't you guys
price.
still pay?
Oh, yeah. When I say the word gets health insurance, I mean has to have. Like, you can get it from whoever you want, but you have to be covered.
Yeah, but don't you guys still pay for your hospitals and stays?
We pay for the insurance. We pay for the hospital. We pay for the hospital stays. We pay for the doctor's visits. We pay for the medicines. We pay for all the incidentals.
We pay for the toilet paper that we wipe our asses with, and the tissue we blow our nose into, and the straw the nurse accidentally dropped on the ground, so she had to go get another one. And I'm sure the slipper dusters they use to clean the room. So all those people get their cut. We got to spread that money around, man. Come on. That's why you have to have 800 tests for no fucking reason now.
But part of that involved taking some of that money because everything gets discounted. So there is certain amount of government subsidies that are involved in Obamacare. And I think some of those were going to illegal immigrants. And all of this stuff was rolled back so that it didn't necessarily apply, or it had timed out or whatever. So what they're wanting to do is reinstate those same conditions whereupon illegal immigrants are able to receive federal funds. And the Democrats say, no, we absolutely have to give federal tax dollars to the illegal immigrants. And that's why the government shut down, is because Republicans said, I don't think that's why they put us in office. And the Democrats said, I don't fucking care. We need to give federal tax dollars to illegal immigrants. And until you allow us to give federal tax dollars to illegal immigrants, we're not going to allow the government to continue. So we're not going to vote for any of these things that are going to be able to fund the government according to these key conditions, one of which is not allowing federal tax dollars to be given to illegal immigrants. And because that's specifically in there, the Democrats won't pass it, and they'll just allow the government to shut down because they are dead set on giving federal tax dollars to illegal immigrants. And they would get them because of what happened with Obamacare. That's how it's connected.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, that's the point. The best part about a government is its ability to overcomplicate.
Okay, I'll read that article now. I understand a little bit about it.
But don't take my word for it. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
about. And to be in chat said it's just an excuse for the Congress to get a vacation. What's up, Andrew?
There he is. I sent you a message, Andrew B. But I don't think you either saw it or cared enough to respond to me.
Oh, well, that explains why I didn't get any sleep. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry just shared the Schumann frequency with me, or with us, and I'm looking at it, and yeah, that's crazy. About 1:40, I was wide awake and had to get up. Like, I was awake, laying there, the cat was right next to me, I was comfortable, I didn't really need to use the restroom. I lay there until I had to use the restroom. Got up, laid back down, stared at the dark walls and played with the cat, lay there, she was purring on my chest, and finally I said, fuck it, and got out of bed about 2:30, I guess. And that whole little period there from about 1:45 till about 2:30 is pretty crazy. Now it's currently even more crazy. But looking at that time period this morning, yeah, that's probably why I couldn't go back to sleep. Here, I will show you all so you can see it too. Hold on. Here is where on this. There it is. Ah, baby, get off the keyboard. You're not helping. You're not helping. You're not helping. Green. Oh, yeah, 2:10. I guess that's time, right? Is that what that is? The top?
Sure. Why not?
I don't even know. I assume that's what it is. Anyway. I know there's a way to stop this thing. Jane, there we go. Wait. I may be looking at this wrong. Let me look back. Let's see. What does that say? Huh. I'm a little confused here. Let me look at something else. Activity, Aurora. No, that's not the one. Local time is expressed in Tomsk summertime, TLDV hours. Okay, which equals UTC plus 7 hours. So how the fuck do I math my way through this one? I'm going to give up. I'm going to just say, nope, not for me.
I believe that's Eastern Standard.
I believe you.
Because I think Central is plus 6. UTC plus 6 is Central Standard, so I'm assuming that plus 7 would just put you an hour ahead of that, which is the equivalent of an Eastern Standard.
Oh, I just saw this. Hollywood is fuming over a new AI actress. Tilly. Created for the show Particle 6. She looks human.
I saw some stupid articles about that too.
I didn't.
So the real actresses now are fuming and are upset. They're going to get replaced by AI.
You should have been more agreeable.
I can see that happening.
Well, yeah. Same thing with the AI girlfriends. Probably for the same reason.
You need to put it in a doll form, like like the sex dolls, and then you put AI into it, and it looks like a human, feels like a human, and it's AI. I'm sold. Then I'm sold. I don't want the stupid chatbot AI girlfriend thing.
No. Get down. You have to get down, sweetie. Get down. Oh.
As long as that sex doll, AI doll, isn't trying to sell me shit from Temu, I'll be happy.
No, she's probably just bitching because all you do is play video games and wants you to get up off your lazy ass and help her out around the house once in a while.
And instead of threatening to kill her, I can be like, bitch, I'm not going to charge you. You better watch your mouth.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Andrew.
And Nuku.
Andrew.
Gentlemen,
afternoon, I
and
think.
Ukulele.
Right. And yeah, I've been absent on the internet, and I'm going to stay absent on the internet. So I'm gifting you with my presence of the moment. And anyways, yes, Josh, I did just check your message, and I will send you that information.
Excellent.
But yeah, when it comes to it's kind of a twisted subject to even bring up, but yeah, the sex robots. I was over at my parents' house because it was, I don't know, 9 years ago or something like that. My internet went out, and I was in the process of finishing up my bachelor's degree, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I have to go over there. I didn't have a laptop at the time, so I had to use my mom's laptop, and I was like hopping on, and all of a sudden it was weird because I saw this like information ad that popped up, like, oh, sex robots are going to be outlawed by the U.S. government. What the fuck is a sex robot? Like, I clicked on the ad, I was like, and it just takes you down this rabbit hole of information. I was like, what the flying fuck are these things? But some of them, this is a while ago, so I'm not even sure what the technology is today. Well, these things are, they have like the silicone, whatever. I don't know how the fuck they even make them anymore. But I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is going to be involved in this at some point. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, they're very expensive. You can get like cheap ones apparently for like a couple thousand, but like the really, really good ones are 10 to 30,000 or something like that, and they're probably going to just go up in price. Sold. All right. No, this is the downfall of humanity, and the reason I was clicking on that link was because it was a news article saying that the U.S. government was trying to outlaw them. Now, should that be something that the U.S. government gets involved in, or any government whatsoever? Should the U.S. government get involved with
where I
this
put
type
my
of
PP? No, they shouldn't be involved in that.
Well, okay. It's an open-ended question, no pun intended, sort of.
Well, the government is going to be involved in anything we do because they want to keep tabs on us, don't they?
Yeah, it seems to be what they think they're for.
I mean, I'm sure even if you're watching Pornhub and you're jacking off, I'm sure your front camera is switched on somewhere by some government entity watching you jack off and recording you in case they need it later on.
That's different. And by the way, everyone that asks, I do not watch porn. I have a girlfriend. And maybe a second one coming up pretty soon. Oh, a new one.
I was going to say, God damn, you the man, Andrew.
Well, no, the one I've been dating for a while. I've known her since I was 14. We never did all that kind of stuff until we were close to legal age. But anyways, when it comes to the government intervention in regards to sexual stuff, sort of like pornography or the legal age of consent, there are a lot of different things that people disagree with. Different countries have different standards. Like when I was in Thailand, they said the legal age of consent was 15. And I was like, whoa, that's way too young. I think the lowest age of consent in the United States is 16, I think. And still, in my opinion, that's too young. But when it comes to these sex robots, then I'm not really sure if this is a part of Agenda 2030 or a depopulation type of agenda, because of a whole bunch of men and women, they're no longer wanting to procreate in the natural way. Well, then that's going to be associated with, depopulation, Agenda 2030. What do you guys think?
What age do you think the age of consent should
be?
Andrew.
That's a great question. And no, that's a great question. I lost my virginity when I was 17, and my girlfriend was also 17. We were both consenting, and we were both virgins at the time. It was very awkward. The first time you have sex, it's like, oh, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I'm sure it was also very quick, Andrew.
No, it was actually a lot longer. No, than I expected.
Really? You're a legend.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, that was the first time. No. Oh, I'm not going to say that I'm a legend. No. That was just like the first time. Like, second time, I was like, uh-oh. Like, so then you have to apologize afterward and make some lemonade and make her breakfast and whatever. But
he lasted so long because he realized he was humping her thighs.
So the legal age of consent, I would say that if a man and a woman at age 17, now obviously in the United States you can't do certain things until you're of a certain age, sort of like voting and certain lots, like you can't own a rifle until age of 18, and then you can't drink alcohol until 21, and then a handgun until 21. All these different regulations that are associated with it. But when it comes to the age of consent, some cultures are like, as soon as the woman, the young lady, is able, basically menstruating, that's basically when they start getting married and they start procreating as soon as possible. But over here in the U.S., that's not the case.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, look, hold on, Josh, before you ask that question. For me, it's not so much the age, because there's no real difference between a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old. I just think the age of consent should be when somebody's done with high school. Even if it means they finish high school at 19, then their age of consent is 19. Once you manage to pass high school, then you should be allowed to have sex.
What if you graduate early? At 14 and you graduate, are you good to go?
Well, hold on. You always have those special cases which need to be looked at. But in general, most people are going to graduate at 17 or 18. Once you're done with school.
As long as you got a diploma.
With the high school
so the high school diploma, that piece of paper, is what grants you the ability to decide whether or not you want to have sex or not.
You're gonna have sex. You're gonna have sex anyway. Rather get something as you can.
I don't think anybody should have sex or get married till they're 35 years old, and then only with parental consent.
No, dude. Some dudes are sagging at 35. Hell no. You mad?
No, 35.
I'm being stupid. I'm being stupid. So look, here's the thing. I got to backtrack a bit because of something you said, Andrew, about the government getting involved with this agenda of these sex dolls. Okay. Having worked in the personal product industry, shall we say, I quickly got over my shock and awe in the fact of the things that we sold were beyond mind-blowing. Yeah, I knew there were porno movies out there. I knew there were magazines out there. I knew we were transitioning from VHS to DVD during that little period. I knew they had these devices for ladies, these little personal neck massagers you see there in the back of the Rolling Stones. I knew they had those. What I didn't know they had was like, a life-sized forearm to fist-sized device made out of silicone and latex. I didn't know they had actual porno stars sitting in like a big vat of goop so that they could take a mold of her little special areas so that you could get an exact replica of that little pucker for you to go play with. Or you could get a kit and make a replica of yourself to give to your lady while you're offshore, perhaps. I had no idea of the amount of work and money that had gone into getting people off. But as I worked there for the next 7 years, I began to understand that it was more than just creepy dude in a trench coat trying to find a dirty book. I had a lot of people come in there, couples that were looking for help in their situation, be it either compatibility in like literal, man, this is so delicate stuff to talk about without being yucky on the radio. Like, some guys are just not endowed, not just not well endowed, they're just not Dow, period, end of story. So there's a whole line of things that, without getting into drugs or weird pumps or anything like that, can help a gentleman be of more enjoyment and pleasure to his lady, his partner, whatever. There are devices that help both people of a couple work out their situation in the intimacy area, be it a vibrating device or a constricting device that increases tumescence, be it a natural pill of some sort that increases blood flow to certain areas of the body, be it a
I'm taking notes,
cream.
so please continue.
No, dude, absolutely. Be it a cream or,
No,
or
kidding.
something that helps delay the moment of, ejaculation or the moment of orgasm or whatever. There is a world of things that have been going on for fucking like forever. These like literally the guy who owns the store that I used to work at now has a erotic museum inside that store where you can see these Frankenstein's laboratory looking devices with wires and coils and big ass vibrating things that strap to your arm while I was just blown away by some of the weird old stuff he's got in there now. I hadn't been there in years, and we went by not long ago just to kind of say hey and, see what's happening. And seeing these old devices and realizing how long this thing had been going on. Yeah, I don't think Agenda 2030 has anything to do with AI sex dolls. I think that's just the kind of progression we're going to with the next technological advancement that usually gets pushed through the porn industry. That's why we have VHS and not beta. That's why we have Blu-ray and not high def DVDs. Literally, both of those formats were chosen by the porno industry. That's why we have those systems in place and not the other competing technology that was out at the beginning of those things. All right, diatribe over.
Yeah, I was spitballing that idea of Agenda 2030 because it's just an idea. They don't have any proof.
No, absolutely, I get it. That's what I'm saying. My take on it is no, that's not part of it. But it could it's all part of it. Anything to distract us and keep us off what we should be doing or thinking or doing, changing or whatever is always part of the agenda. But the actual device of a sex toy being a main part of it, well, that means they've been planning this shit since the 18, 16, whatever hundreds.
Here's something interesting in regards to pornography. I use a VPN, and I change it all the time. I just randomize it in different locations. And because I live in California, allegedly, sometimes I'll just set it to West Coast. Okay, no problem. Which is very, very broad. And then I started hearing about how the U.S. government is getting involved with the allowing minors, with age verification and things like that, to actually going on to Pornhub or whatever else. I don't know. I don't venture into that category. Anyways, the thing I heard about that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So, I typed into Pornhub.com, and then because my VPN at the time, it said West Coast, but I guess it was routed somewhere in Arizona. And it wouldn't allow me to access Pornhub because it actually had this USC code, blah, 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 whatever else. You have to actually sign in and verify who you are. I was like, well, I'm not doing that. So I just I logged out. But then I I shut off my VPN and tried it again. And then I rerouted it to Russia or something. And all of a sudden, yep, it works again. Yep, full access. So I think pornography is going to definitely be a very, very bad problem, especially when parents are like, oh, yeah, here you go, Timmy, and here's a fucking phone. No parental access whatsoever. Watch every fucking dirty thing you can think of, and then come back and it's going to fuck society up. I think it does need to be regulated a lot, but I just don't know how. That's my personal opinion. Now I'm going to shut up.
How about this? How about
regulated? Why?
DNA testing, Andrew? Would you do a DNA test from some like rando DNA testing company? Would you send your private DNA information off to some random company for them to hold and have? Like 23andMe?
No. What?
Why not?
No.
Why not?
I don't trust any of those things.
So what if there were a company out there that doesn't do VPN business per se, but decides it wants to start buying up VPN companies? Don't really give a shit about your privacy, but they want to see what it is you're hiding. So now all you've done by using a VPN is filter out all the stupid shit that you don't want that comes from the internet, and you're able to show this company that owns all these other VPN companies exactly what it is you're trying to hide.
I see what you're getting at. Okay, I got you. Well, it's better to have it than to not have it, because Comcast, I download a lot of like TV shows and movies and stuff that I am not able to just watch on different, not Netflix, let's put it that way. And these TV shows, I got a notice from Comcast saying that I downloaded, what the fuck is the name of it? It's like the superhero movies. Anyways, it's like the show, pretty new. Anyways, they were like, yeah.
The Boys.
No, not The Boys, no. I got bored of that pretty quickly. Anyways, yeah, they said, there's a notice that was sent to me. And they said that if I continue to do that with downloading stuff, that they would, after that, they would either fine me or the company that reported me would fine me and potentially shut off my internet and no longer have Comcast available. So I was like, oh, okay. And I realized I didn't have my VPN enabled at the time, because a VPN will reduce people's download and upload speeds by about 75%. It's a large amount. So when it comes to using a VPN, I've never had an issue, ever. Until that.
Until the power grid goes down due to some terrorist attack, and then the government says, we need all the information for electrical engineers that might know how to do this. And they start just scouring the web for information and clues that might lead them to the person that did it. And then the VPN companies turn over all the information of the things that you've been searching and watching for using their VPN. Oh, here you go. Here's all that information that Andrew thought he was keeping private, because we didn't funnel it straight to you. We wait for you to ask, government. And once government asks, then we turn it over. No problem. Here's all that private information.
I know a little bit more about this than I'm willing to say, but I have taken some network engineering courses, so I know what I'm doing.
Okay, it's almost midday for me, guys. I need to go. I need to go do some work. I'll catch you on Monday.
Have a great weekend,
Cheers, man.
Duma. Appreciate you stopping by.
Don't get eaten by a lion.
Right. Have a good weekend.
Yes, I'll look out for hippos, lions, and bears.
Hippos. I'm not sure if you guys ever saw the TV show called An Idiot Abroad. You guys ever seen that or heard of it?
I think I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I hadn't watched it.
Oh, it's super hilarious. You can just watch it on YouTube for free and whatever. So it's this guy named Carl Pilkington from the UK. Everyone calls him an idiot, but he's not really an idiot. He just has a different sense of an outlook on society. And what he did is he went down to, he hates traveling, by the way. So at one point, Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant, two popular actors and comedians, they send him down to South Africa, where he meets Jessica the hippo. It's pretty funny to see. It's a whole fully grown hippo, which yeah, Jessica the hippo. And there's this husband and wife combo, and they have Jessica the hippo as a pet. She comes in, and they feed her beans and vegetables and whatever the fuck it is. And then they give her a massage with different like essential oils and stuff like that, and give her a mattress to lay on. And then she goes to sleep, and then and this hippo knows how to actually open the door from the inside and outside. It's like one of those latch handles, not not a doorknob. Yeah, she figured out how to do that. But hippos have been known to kill a lot of people, and they're fucking fast when they're aggressive. Anyways, that's probably the only reason I would want to go down to South Africa. And that's just me.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I was just playing catch up there in chat, and I see where Sherry Ives posted roughly 45,000 gallons of radioactive water from a defunct plant north of New York City will be discharged into the Hudson River after a federal court ruling struck down a state environmental law. Lovely. So I'll get it eventually down here. It's nuts. I was just reading some stories. In fact, I dropped them locally here in Louisiana. There's a little parish that's a farming community. They're going to be the site for Meta to build a new AI center the size of 70 football fields. Now, there are residents currently near another Meta data center in Georgia who are telling everyone about their experience living near a massive AI data center. And what they talk about in Georgia is the fact that they are literally afraid to drink the water from their wells and their faucets because of the leaching into the water table of all the horrible forever chemicals that are being used there. Let's see. In a rural Louisiana farming community of 20,000 people, Meta is building a 4 million square foot artificial intelligence data center, even as the locals in Georgia grapple with dwindling and discolored water supply following the construction of their facility that began in 2018. Now, there is a larger trend going on with this where regions are being used and like they're specifically going to these like smaller rural areas. They then, I guess, grease some palms and side swipe and go by a lot of, like literal laws and literal guidelines on the environment or safety or any of that. I mean, it isn't just the water either that's the issue. A lot of the issue is the power grid that is going to be, well, first of all, they're going to have to build out a whole new set of power grid issues there. I'm trying to find that part of the story. It's quite a lengthy little story here. This summer, Louisiana's Public Service Commission voted to expedite the approval for the construction of 3 natural gas turbines that will run the center on more than 2 gigawatts of energy. Critics protested the rush process, claiming there was no time for the changes in the deal that were filed by Meta and Entergy Louisiana, the utility company that's going to be overseeing the plants, according to the outlet. The members of the public concerns or expressed concerns their energy bills would be increased and there would be water shortages. The infrastructure plan was approved in a 4-1 vote after Entergy promised to increase protections to stop a potential increase in the rates residents would pay. Non-disclosure agreements have ensured that Meta doesn't have to share how much it will pay towards the project. The company will also benefit from a state law that exempts it from paying sales tax, which could have resulted in tens of millions of dollars each year in revenue for the state. The Public Service Commissioner Devontae Lewis was the only person to vote no, stating there's a lack of transparency about how much energy the data center will consume, if Meta's 500 promised jobs will come to fruition, and if the gas-powered turbines were the actual best option for the plant. There's certain information we should know and need to know, but we don't have access to, Lewis told the AP outlet. Meta agreed to pay for about half of the cost of the turbines over the first 15 of a 30-year period, but the $550 million transmission lines will be funded by us, all grid users. Let's see. Now, the utility company claimed... Go ahead.
Continue.
No, I was saying that Meta's saying their build-out is going to actually make everybody's bill go down, is what Meta is claiming. That their... Come on, sweetie, get down. That their upgrades will reduce... Oh, man, come on. Stop, sweetie. Meta coming to Louisiana means customer bills will be lower than they otherwise would have been, Entergy is claiming. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, so when it comes to electricity and Meta and these different types of things, something very strange fell upon me just about 5 days ago, I think. 6 days ago, maybe. One of my coworkers, who is an electrical contractor, and he came to me asking me for assistance with doing some electrical calculations, like load calculations for like a building and an entire site. And I was like, okay, so whatever. I mean, it's fucking easy for me. By the way, I charge $500 an hour to do that. But no, I'm not kidding. It's actually cheap.
No, that's great. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, other people charge more than that. But anyways, that's cash. So Kevin, my coworker, I don't have a contractor's license, a C10 license, but he got subcontracted by another guy who has a B2 license, a builder's license. And Kevin showed me like the layout of where everything's going to go. And I was like, in Los Gatos, California, that's fucking expensive. And it's about 50 acres of land. It's fucking huge. So it's about a $30,000 plot of land, nothing installed there. And I was like, who the fuck is this for? Kevin said, it's the vice president of Meta. I was like, holy shit. So yeah, I'm going to be involved with a very expensive, between $300,000 and $400,000 project coming up here pretty soon. So hopefully I can fall across a shitload of money. But yeah, it's
sounds like it.
With Meta. I don't even use Facebook or Meta. If you type in meta.com, does it go to Facebook? I think it still does, right?
I believe you.
Sure.
That's how the URL, yeah. Uniform Resource Language. Anyways, that's what the URL is. But anyways, so apparently, I didn't know this until I think today, that there's going to be a government shutdown. Yesterday or today.
Started yesterday.
So NASA closes. Oh, did it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Josh's birthday present.
So NASA closes doors to 15,000 employees as U.S. government shutdown begins. This is off of space.com. And I was like kind of excited for a moment, but I was like, oh, fuck. They didn't just fire him? Now that would have been like I would have been going and popping some champagne or something. No. Just. And Josh, I know I've been a civilian contractor with the government and also a government employee like you have as well. But it says, yes, the grinding halt forces NASA and other agencies to scale back nearly all of their day-to-day operations after lawmakers in Washington, D.C. failed to pass a government funding bill by the deadline. Only a fraction of NASA's workforce remains on duty, assigned to missions that cannot be paused without risking astronaut safety, critical hardware, or the Trump administration's highest priorities. It gets worse as they go on. With most science programs and public-facing activities frozen, the shutdown leaves NASA in a holding pattern until Congress approves of new funding. Gosh, wish I was in Congress and actually mattered. It's like fucking, and have my fucking hand on that fucking red button. NASA's, okay, I'm not going to continue, but yeah, that's the state of affairs that we're currently at, where this is what they're telling people. And it goes on for like, I don't know, like 15 more paragraphs after that, so I'm not going to read all of it. You know, I should probably just call Jaron real quick. Maybe he can verify this for me. He'll set me straight.
I'm sure he will.
Oh, then, okay, another one off of space.com, just right off. Anyone can look at this. This is so bad. That's worse than the other one. Saturn's moon Enceladus? I'm just going to call it enchilada.
Okay.
Saturn's moon Enceladus is shooting out organic molecules that could help create life. This is.
See, space lettuce in Spanish. Anybody know what the Spanish word for salad is? Just curious.
Salad.
It's called ensalada. Ensalada.
Ensalada.
Well, this one is spelled Enceladus. Enceladus or Enceladus? However, I don't fucking know. A bunch of CGI bullshit. What's been going on with that whole spaceship thing that was going to be coming to Earth? Kind of looking forward to that.
Oh, it's still coming, and not only is it coming, there's thousands of other ones right there with it.
Hiding behind it, probably, so we don't see them.
Oh, you see them now.
Oh, do we?
And they're, oh, yeah. You hadn't seen the new footage? Oh, my God. Hang on. Oh, I got to share this one. Wait. Not only is there more of them coming, but they've all verified somehow magically that I don't understand. They verified the fact that they're all powered somehow. And that they have enough power in each one. Oh, it's just great. Hold on. Let me find it. KSA. Man, I know I just watched that. I bet it was a short. That's probably why I can't find it. I hate looking for short.
I think that'd be pretty cool. Can I sign up for that program? Can they text me when my gas is getting low in my car? Or when my oil is low? Just shoot me a text whilst you're keeping track of how my car is powered and how much fuel I have on board. I would appreciate it. That'd be cool.
I think modern cars have that, Josh.
Man, I don't see it.
Well, see, the modern cars will tell you because they can monitor themselves. I want to know from a remote location. Like, I want NASA in their offices to tell me how much fuel I have on board using a telescope. Just take a satellite.
Are you really sure you want that? No, I don't think you want that.
I want them to try. I want them to try.
Just like some random car, like out in the middle of fucking like Kentucky somewhere.
I want 4 random cars, each with a different power source, and I want them to look at them with a satellite and tell me what each power source is and how much fuel is on board of that vehicle for each power source. That's what I want.
What if they got it right? Would that be scary? Or would you accuse them of cheating somehow?
I'd be amazed. Like I
would be amazed too.
It would definitely make me rethink the way I read my space lettuce stories.
Space lettuce.
I had a song somewhere. I had a nice little space lettuce jingle once upon a time. But that was like early AI music. So it wasn't all that great.
You guys remember the slight little trivia question I asked in regards to space lettuce and what type of lettuce was actually being grown?
Vaguely.
Oh.
Like, that you asked it, I vaguely remember, but I also vaguely think it was romaine lettuce that they were growing.
That is correct. And I think I asked that question between you and Walt for the trivia. Yeah, it's romaine lettuce, yes.
Because they were at a
just
disadvantage.
Go ahead. I can't find this video. Hey, Mama. Go ahead.
Walt and I are reasonably well versed on the idea of space lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the first time they told us, but also the first time and the first time.
The fuck does that mean?
So that's where space lettuce was born, was we ran across a story about them growing lettuce in space for the very first time. And about 9 months later, we ran across a story about them growing lettuce in space for the very first time. And about 6 months later, we ran across a story about them growing lettuce in space for the very first time. So we thought, well, that's funny. They just keep regurgitating all these same space stories and just adding for the very first time on a lot of this shit, and most people will buy it. It's just recycled space news or space lettuce. Like Planet 9, the 9th planet, the one that's secretly floating around out there in the solar system. That's also classic space lettuce, because they'll bring that story up 2-3 times a year. I think I just dropped a story in there a couple weeks ago about a new Planet 9 story.
Well, it's Planet X, which is also known as what? Starts with an N.
Nibiru.
There you go.
Hey,
then again, I can't verify any of that. I'll have to call up Jaron and find out if that's actually accurate.
So I did hear in the recent round of lengthening our chains on the government, because I do so appreciate the extra links they give us to allow us to feel free. I saw that YouTube, having now admitted that they were violating or assisting in the violating of First Amendment rights at the behest of the Biden administration, are now, I guess, releasing binds on the shadow banning and the cancellation of channels and all that good stuff. So I was just kind of curious as to how that might help our reach, if at all. Or if there's still going to be an active campaign against flat earthers, as they told, was that Congress at one point?
No, I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember where I first heard it, but either way, some people with certain YouTube channels that are notorious for putting out flat earth or Bigfoot or, moon landing, whatever it is, it doesn't even say that in the title. And it will just put one of those little advertisement banners, like, oh yeah, refer to Wikipedia. I don't know if that's going to change at all, but so far what I've seen is it's getting worse. And again, like Walmart can do whatever the fuck they want in certain cases. They can say, if anyone comes in here with sandals, you're not allowed to shop here. It's at their own prerogative, right? Now it's going to be stupid. It's going to be really hard to enforce, but it's their own store policy. And they can say, oh yeah, because of health code, blah blah blah, whatever. Or like, oh yeah, no shoes, no short. Sorry, no shirts. Sorry.
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
I just smoked a bong load. Pardon me.
Easy for you to say.
No shoes, no shirt, no service. They have that around in a lot of places. Unless you go over to the coast here in California, like Santa Cruz, people are walking in there with no shoes, no shirt, and like hot pants on. You guys know what hot pants are? If you don't know what those are, please don't look it up.
Wait a
anyways,
minute. You have women in hot pants walking around topless, or topless dudes walking around in hot pants? I'm just curious.
Dudes.
Nice.
It's a lot of gay guys. Let's put it that way. All right, I'll just fucking tell you. It's like a Speedo. Because a lot of them are surfers and shit. They take off their wetsuit, and then they go surfing, and then they dry off. They go to a 7-Eleven. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, they don't have that sign on there, on the door or on the window. Just whatever.
Okay, I'm sorry. I finally found it and dropped it in the chat and in our show chat that we're in together here, Andrew. If you want to watch it at your leisure, I'm not.
Yes, absolutely. And
definitely
you're on the clock, so I had that took you about 20 minutes. So
I know. Trust me, it was hard to find. I watch way too much crap on YouTube. That's pretty much my source of watching. So I have to go way back through history, and then I'll skip it, not realizing what the image I'm looking for is. So I had to come back through twice.
Are you just going to live stream it?
Nah.
Are you allowed
it's
to?
Not.
I think so.
I don't know. You think I could?
Probably.
I'm not even subbed to that channel. I don't think I am. Am I? Nope.
So I do this with my class fairly often, meaning where there's a lot of these electrical videos and just comedy videos in general. I usually open up the class with comedy videos when I'm teaching online, or even in person, doesn't matter. And a lot of them are what you'd think are copyright restricted, but I've never had a single strike on my channel, even though I don't have a fucking video uploaded to my channel. I have 19 subscribers, I think. I don't have any videos.
I don't know. I'm probably not gonna play it. I mean, it's just it's just the usual space crap to me, anyway. Each one of these things has the power of enough to power a city. Like, okay, yeah, and I guess there's diamonds and fucking steak raining out of the sky in each one of them. I mean, it's that same idea. How the fuck do you know what the fuck? If that was really 1,000,000 trillion miles away in some infinite void of space, how the fuck do you know what kind of power source it has? It's a fucking rock. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway. Walt rage over.
I've had this same conversation with people on Discord. I know a lot of people hate Discord for a lot of different reasons, and I get that. But it's better than listening to the radio. And if no one's live streaming anything on my way to work, then I'll just throw on Discord and listen to people talk. And sometimes I'll just turn it off because it just turns into a shit show so fast. However, a lot of people have been using these things called zenith angles, and it's basic trigonometry, which I fully comprehend, and even spherical trigonometry, which goes into geometry at that point. So if all of the stars can be detected by the angle of precession and from 3 different locations on Earth at the same time, that means all of the stars are essentially the same distance away. Same thing with the Earth and the Moon and the Sun. And as soon as I bring that up and do the math in front of these people, I just do it live right there on Discord. Here's the math. And then they're like, oh, no, but you're like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm only doing what you said to do. And they fucking fall flat on their face. It doesn't work. I'm not the only person that's ever done that. A lot of other people have as well. And just a little FYI for everyone that might be curious about Witsit. I've been in contact with him quite a bit in some private conversations and whatnot. But yeah, he's been on Discord lately and arguing with this fucktard professor, PhD Tony, who is just an imbecile. And I've spoken with him, and I don't get it. Is there a reason that someone would just, if I had a PhD, I would just still say, hey, I'm Andrew. I wouldn't have to announce it to everyone. I don't get why some people do that. But yeah, anyways, which it has been doing.
You do realize how much money they paid for each of those letters, right?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Witsit is coming back here pretty soon, but he's been going through a very, very rough situation lately, and that's about the limit of what I'm able to say, even though I know the whole story. But yeah, he's going to start doing streams here again pretty soon, but he'll be talking about it at some point in the full detail. But don't think he flipped, like he didn't get like a payout like Jaren did. Here's a question that I've asked many times. I'll just give a little preface to it. When I first heard about Flat Earth, I was in my car listening to Coast to Coast. Was it right? Yeah, Coast to Coast AM with like George Norrie and shit like that. And this guy, Mark Sargent, who I didn't know who he was. And I came in like halfway into the radio broadcast. I was like, holy shit, this is weird. I've never heard about this stuff before. So I actually pulled over into a parking lot and just got out a notepad, like pen and paper kind of thing. Started taking notes. I was like, okay, this is fucking weird. And then I just kind of ignored it for a while. And then a couple years later, I started hearing more and more information about this. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are people coming up to me and telling me about this? I don't get it. So my question, I'm going to pause it to both of you and everyone in the audience at the moment. What level of evidence would be required to believe the Earth is a sphere or a globe? That's my question to everyone. Or is it even possible at all?
Yeah, I've had questions about the three-body problem since I was in college, way before I even conceived of any possibility that the Earth might not be a spinny space pair floating through an infinite void. I always went, yeah, but if that thing can pull fucking Halley's Comet from 80 years away from here, and keep it on its fucking, like, tether of magic fucking gravity, then how come every other goddamn thing between it and us doesn't get sucked to our sun constantly? Well, all the other bodies pull on them and spin them a different way, and it's all perfectly balanced. I'm like, oh, right, okay, so for gazillions of fucking years, nothing hit nothing else, and it's all perfectly balanced now, and all the comets that come by just happen to miss, and if they do hit, let's say Jupiter, I'm looking at you, Shoemaker Levy 9. Nothing changes. Not a fucking instant of 1 millisecond of alter of a spin or a orbital something, because any of that changes and it all goes to shit and we all explode into a big dust pile floating through the infinite void. But yeah, it's got to be real. That's just my opinion. I'm probably crazy.
No, it's a valid point, unless you ask Professor Dave, who says, "Oh yeah, I can do that, no problem." And many people have asked him, and he's been yet to produce any evidence whatsoever. It gets into calculus, which calculus is not. It's just really, really advanced versions of algebra. That's all calculus really is. But it can also go in. It's basically just like algebra on steroids twice. And he never provided any evidence for it whatsoever, or asked someone else to assist him with inputting that into an AutoCAD type of program with the same formulas, calculations, distances, speeds, masses. You know, there's a lot of shit that goes into play when it comes to that kind of situation. Yeah, the three-body problem, that's one aspect of it. But then
I would need some measurable curvature. Measurable curvature would really convince me. Or measurable motion. If we could, motion would be great. If we could prove we weren't still, and that we were actually in motion, that would at least lend some credibility to the theory. Or pressure. Like if I could figure out how to get the right PSI in my tires without actually needing tires to replace every time I get a nail in it, that would be a lot better than
that would be
replacing the tires that I've had to do the last couple of months.
Oh, you'd be a billionaire tomorrow. You could figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Those are my big three, I think. Any one of those would lend a considerable amount of credibility.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for people to actually come to the understanding of, holy shit, I was lied to. And this is the cognitive dissonance aspect of it's cognition. It's the term. Some people just, they won't want to look at it. I didn't want to. But then I was kind of pushed into that direction. And a lot of people, I'm not going to name any names, Jaron, but either way, have put a lot of effort into a certain type of understanding to something, and then just kind of buckled without actually explaining as to why.
Yeah, that was my next question, actually, was, has he ever explained what his change of heart was really all about, other than a fucking light in the sky being different than he was thinking it would be? I mean, if that's all it took to unravel all of his shit, then he didn't really have much he was standing on mentally in the first place. I've never, like, after I couldn't get B.O.B. on his show for him, like he thought I was going to do, our little buddy thing we had going on in DMs went away. So I just quit fucking with Jaron 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I heard too many anti-religious rants by him while he was calling out and asking people to donate to his little church, but that's a whole different thing. And yeah, I was done with Jaron years and years and years ago. So for him to suddenly betray the community, whatever, he did that years ago to me. So, but has he ever been invited to explain has he done it on his own shit? Has he explained it anybody else's show? If we invited him to come on and explain it all to us, you think he would? I mean, I'm willing to hear anybody's shit once at least. I'll even bite my tongue through the whole thing. But I definitely didn't, I definitely haven't been on board with his whole thing since the early days. And granted, it was all about him and Bob and TJ or JT or AJ or AJ. those three sitting there watching ISS feed was a huge part of my early days of getting past NASA and getting to the possibility, even considering that we may not be a floating, spinning space pair. But, you know, the integrity that Bob progressed through the following years with versus the integrity that Jaron went through the following years with, you know, pretty much. Well, I mean, you can look back in the history of our show and see whose side of that we kind of landed on, I guess, if you pay attention. Anyway. But I don't know. I can't say. I don't know why he did whatever or care, really. I mean, I'm willing to let our show be a platform. If he wants to come and explain away, that's fine. But it's not going to make me lose sleep one the fuck way or the other.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not really worth trying to figure out too much about. Sort of like if I was going to say, what do you guys think about the Epstein files? Like, I don't really give a shit. It is what it is.
Till I have it in my hand, what am I going to do, right?
Yeah. So someone did send me a clip. I think it was Duffy that was saying that he was on the airplane with Jaron and they were coming back from Antarctica and Jaron approached him saying, yeah, the Earth is a sphere. I was like, what the fuck? Someone said, I'll have to find out what. They may have just been right off of Duffy's channel, but either way, nowadays it's hard to tell. AI is just getting out of control, but I don't know what happened down there, out there, but something that Winston called me crazy when I said this. I said the cost of the flight and everything. So probably $50,000 or more in equipment and things like that, plus $1 million. That would be my price. And Winston said I was kind of crazy. Like, why would you spend that much or charge that much? Like, well, I have a full-time job, so I don't have a month of vacation time saved up, and I hate fucking flying. But a lot of those guys, they did allegedly do that, and I do think they did. I just think there's a lot of different aspects of how people have said it wasn't actually legitimate. I think it was, just there's too many things that are considered to be these nuanced type of like, ooh, look at that little small thing, one little glitch in the or two or three glitches. That's why I think a lot of people get held up. Granted, a lot of it is valid, but I don't think that looking at the entire thing from a lot of different people, it all corroborates from different angles and different places. I still don't. McToon, I don't fucking. And Duffy, I don't trust either one of those fuckers. I wouldn't trust them to watch my fucking home while I go to the bathroom. I don't fucking trust them at all. Rant over.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm not sure I'd go for a Jaron presentation.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I couldn't bite my tongue. I would need explanation. Because it's just going to allow an ability to just say what the fuck ever. And completely contradict and not address any of the real issues and just say, well, it's just what I think now.
I don't like talking shit about people. But Jaron is someone who I considered a good friend. I met him multiple times. I have his phone number, address, all that kind of bullshit, right? So I did flat Earth tests with him. And I manned his table at the 2023 Oktoberfest as he was up on stage. Because he called me up and said, hey, I need you to come on down. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem, I'll be there. So when it comes to that kind of situation, I don't like talking shit about people until what happens is all it takes is a couple of different things to make someone put a sour an opinion about someone in regards to their actions. And I don't know exactly what it was that caused Jaron to do all that. I think he blocked my number. I don't even know. I haven't texted him in quite some time. But either way, everyone lives their own life. If that's the avenue that he wants to go down, that's fine. Whatever. And I'm going to flat out say this. Jaron has been in a situation lately, for at least the last year that I know of, maybe a little bit longer, where he needs money. Applying to a position nowadays, especially when people have a certain level of social media, like their representation on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram or YouTube. I think he was trying to clear his record because he needs fucking money. And you know what? Fine, do that. And I can't really blame anyone. It's like, fuck, I'm a flat earther. I need a job. And one of the first things that happens when people apply to a job, they look up your name. And then they'll just go onto Facebook and, all these different other, things. And all of a sudden, like, flat earth, fucking moon landing hoax. Like, we don't really know if we're going to hire this person. All they have to do is in California, where Jaron and I live, it's a right to work state, which means employers can fire any employee at any time for any reason. Unless it's like, oh, you got sexually harassed or assaulted by a supervisor? Oh, you're fired. That's a lawsuit. But aside from that, there's no other things associated. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And you know what? If Jaron's listening, hey man, I really hope you can come around and get to your senses. And even though I unsubbed from everything Jaron on Telegram, on YouTube, and Rockfin, and all that shit, I still check out his channel because I know he's only doing shows on Thursdays. So I was like, okay, he's doing like this trivia thing, whatever it's called. I think he had 16 people watching tonight. I didn't even watch it. I was just like seeing how many people were actually attending to it. And his subscriber count is going down, 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 and down. All right, rant over.
I think he's always needed money.
Now.
I think it's always been a money issue.
Absolutely.
I think that YouTube plaque was what was dangling from the end of the stick that was leading him down the YouTube path. I get all those subs, I get all this money, I'll be able to sit at home and buy sports cars like I see them doing on YouTube. And it was all about biblical flat earth until he realized that's not where the money was. And he just abandoned that.
Or did he?
Or did
he?
I think he'll tell you whatever you want to hear that will allow you to part ways with your money.
I know I spent probably a few months digging my way through the IFERS chat fucking foreverness. Anybody remember any of that stuff? That he and, what's his name? Shit. I'm brain dead right now. Eric.
His name's Shit? That's pretty
I was
cool.
saying, shit, I'm brain dead. I couldn't remember his name, Eric, and he went through a bunch of alleged defrauding and et cetera of some digital currency early on, and that was when he called him out way before any of us really knew who anybody else was. That was going on at IFERS way before we knew who the fuck Jaron was, before he had a channel, before he had a presence in the Flat Earth community. He had already made himself known in the blockchain or whatever the fuck you call that shit, and had defrauded someone out of some money, we were told. And everybody was so quick to go, oh, he wouldn't do that. Why would he do that? Anyway, I don't know. I just remember looking and reading through that whole long-ass thread trying to determine,
Well, it was Eric DeBay that said...
Is there anything on either side of this I should listen to? Right, go ahead.
Yeah, Eric DeBay claims that he was helping Jaron out with some like camera funds or something like that. And Eric DeBay, even though I've never spoken with him personally, and I can't verify him as an absolute trusted source, but Eric DeBay has mentioned several times in his videos about Jaron that Jaron scammed about $80,000 worth of money from multiple people. And Jaron flat out denies it. And I don't know, but I trust, unfortunately, I trust Jaron more than DeBay, only because I've actually met Jaron multiple times. But I've never talked to or met Eric DeBay. So I don't know what the truth is. Even though my trust for Jaron is declining. I'm not trying to turn this into like a fucking, what do they call that shit? Mary Povich or one of those fucking shows.
Yeah, I think she was the babysitter, wasn't she? Flew around in an umbrella. Used to hang out with the chimney sweep, Mary Povich.
Oh no, I was talking about
Magic Umbrella and all that.
Pretty sure that's right.
No, it's the white trash fucking dude that always has all scripted, bunch of drunk bitches get up on stage and what's his fucking name?
You'll come up with it. I'm waiting. I know what it is. I'm just waiting for you to come up with it.
I am fucking high.
I'm high.
Get it. All right. Well, I don't get high very often.
It's Jerry Springer.
I can see his. God damn it! You're right. There you go. Yeah, Jerry Springer. By the way, that's a very interesting. I saw it several years ago where someone went through and watched all of these. They did a documentary, if you want to call it that, about Jerry Springer, showing how it's like 95% or more is just completely scripted.
Well, yeah. And not scripted in so much as here are the words we want you to say, but more of an outline. Here's a character we want you to play. And probably not even that. Here's the direction of the segment you're going to be on. And you can come in as whatever character you want to be and do whatever you want, but this is going to be your role in it. And they allow a certain amount of freedom, I think, and expression of that role. Kind of like Judge Judy and that kind of shit. It's not like real.
Yeah, Judge Judy.
It's all like fake, but they still don't know what arbitrary ruling that psycho lady up there is going to make. So they get paid regardless. It's really just a way to get money. If you lose, then the settlement comes out of that big fund that you were going to be given. So you might get nothing, but only if you lose.
If you lose?
Mm-hmm.
If you lose the fake trial?
Mm-hmm. Because it's all monetary. So it's like you both get like $5,000. But if you lose and the judgment's for $1,000, then you pay that 1,000 out of the 5,000 that you were going to get. So then the person gets 6 and you get 4. I think is how most of that works.
This is sort of like UFC for Jerry Springer.
Yeah, exactly.
So they get a lot less money. Dude, like overweight black women just like ripping off each other's weaves, and their fingernails are breaking off, and they're fucking in their skin. Like, oh, you won. Here's $5,000. Now get the fuck out. How did that whole thing start? When it came to, I'm not going to call it reality TV, but it's definitely associated with some sort of marketing strategy. Who was the first one?
Cops.
Was it Jerry Springer?
Well, wait, are like daytime talk shows, I don't think are considered reality TV.
Well, they try to, okay, Pawn Stars, they call it reality TV. Storage Wars, they call it, but either way, both of those other things, they're both staged completely. They admit it.
I have an interesting take on this.
Yes, please.
I watched a show growing up that brought real life people onto television and gave them a place to do whatever the fuck they wanted to. Sing, dance, dress up like some bizarre character, do puppetry, fucking read poetry, whatever the fuck they wanted to do. They could come on, perform, under threat of being gone. Yes, the Gong Show. Chuck Barris took the idea of bringing real people to television and turning them into entertainment. Not scripted, not written out, nothing planned. That it started with his first 2 shows, which were The Dating Game, which brought real life contestants in to talk to 3 other hidden faces and choose one for a date. Now, those people weren't always real people. In fact, that's where Pee Wee Herman actually got his early start. He was on the fucking Dating Game as a character dude playing a dude playing a character, but the show presented him as a real guy. He wasn't. He was fucking Paul Rubens playing a character, but he was on there. There was a lot of famous people who came on as potential dates on the Dating Game. But the lady on the stool asking the questions was always a real person. Then fast forward to the Newlywed Game, where real couples came on and were asked questions, and they gave real honest answers that were fucking hilarious. One of my favorite shows growing up when I would stay home from school was watching The Dating Game. And then fast forward to the Gong Show, where real people came on, did bizarre fucking performances, and were then judged by 3 celebrity guests judges. I think he started the whole reality idea of TV, Chuck Barris. But that's just my personal opinion after watching him for years and years and years and seeing where it all went with things like Cops and Jerry Springer and fucking Big Brother. And
well, it seems to be the other side of the coin. Whereas you're bringing real people in to do whatever character it is they want in your TV studio in front of the TV cameras and a TV host where we're going to cut to commercials and have a live studio audience, calling that reality TV versus trying to take cameras and insert yourselves and record the everyday life and the goings on of whatever subject it is you're doing, and ideally not participating in and not having an influence upon what it is you're recording, and you're just making TV someone else's reality is your television, sort of a reality television. Seems to be pretty different than the Gong Show, whereupon you get to, everyday people get to make up whatever character they want. Seems to be like more of a TV show audition versus like reality TV. Do a performance and we'll judge it.
Yeah, that goes back into like Johnny Carson and stuff like that, right? Because
Stupid Human Tricks.
Well, yeah, it's just that I met Jay Leno. They had a military appreciation night, and we had
David Letterman. Sorry, was Stupid Human Trick.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So I saw exactly how this works. All of those, they call them the late night shows. They're all pre-recorded, and when you're sitting in the audience, it was a military appreciation night. That's when I got to meet Rob Schneider and whatever her fucking name is, and the chick that was in Bad Santa and Gilmore Girls. Fuck me Santa, whatever her name is. So I got to meet her and Jay Leno. And yes, Jay Leno literally just wears he wears denim, like everywhere he goes. And then we all had to sit there and wait for him to come back out, and then, oh, applaud now, and they tested us and all that kind of stuff too. Like, oh yeah, when you see that, can you hoot and holler or like applaud a lot? It's fucking weird. But yeah, those like Johnny Carson and other things, maybe going back further than that. But when it comes to things like Survivor, when I first heard about that, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. Like the Lost Boys kind of like Survivor. But no, it was like, oh yeah, you're hungry, you know, do a game show kind of thing. It was fucking stupid. I lost interest like in the second episode. But when it comes to these different things, I just don't know where it started and why it's so successful still. Is it just because people have an attention span equal to those of people that I think Jerry Springer died, didn't he?
Pretty sure he did. The only thing that makes reality TV popular is the fact that it's not real.
Oh yeah, he died April 27th, 2023. There you go. And pancreatic cancer. Oh shit! I think it's the same thing that what's his name? Steve Jobs died from.
As well as Bill Hicks and any other number of infamously famous people.
Well, I'm going to go on mute because I have been a guest on your channel, on your stream again. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. But it's going to be ending here in about 3 minutes. So, I'm going on mute.
I was wondering where you'd run off to. I appreciate a good internet fast every once in a while.
I got a lot of personal stuff going on. So, this is not going to be a regular thing again for me. It might be a while.
Well, we appreciate you coming on even more now. I did want to give Dawn a quick shout out. I'm super excited that you and your hubby get to have some you and hubby time.
Right,
Finally.
I saw that earlier too. And the big move. Lots of prayers going your way. Oh, don't enjoy it.
Hopefully you guys can reconnect the way you used to.
Don't
and
forget
of course,
the outdoors.
And a shout out to Sherry and all of the naked chocolate syrup wrestling one can handle.
Well, shit, I just saw what time it is. We should have called Zack and woke him up, maybe. I didn't realize. I thought it was about 5:20, 5:30.
I was wondering if I should reach out to Zack and make sure he was awake.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I felt a little...
I don't know. I don't know what time he... Yeah, I don't know. Well, darn. I guess we'll figure it out after this. But thank you guys for hanging out and being here this morning. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Nuka. For sure. I saw Lee in chat way earlier in the call, and then I got sidetracked with cats in the conversation, so I didn't have a time there to actually hit him up and say, hey, when you think you guys might want to come and hang out with us? Because like I said, they were ready to jump on that Friday. I mentioned it, but then things kind of went a little haywire in his area of life, so he's dealing with a few things. But when he is able to, if you're still listening, Lee, definitely reach out and let me know when you guys will be able to come hang out on a Friday. Because the plan would be on that Friday, we would not do this early of a morning show. We would let everybody get a little extra rest. Josh would get the show ready on his way to work, before work, or as soon as he got home, and we would then have an evening chilling with you, Bender. Ah, little fucker. Sorry, he surprised me. He's sitting on a chair under the table, scratching my knee. Bender, I'm gonna whoop you.
Thank you all for hanging out with us this morning and being in chat, and all you folks that tune in after the fact. We do love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Be sure you tune in here on Monday morning for more of the Ironworks. Until then, be good, be well, do good, do it well. We love you. Bye-bye.
Fuck, whiskey boy. I didn't even know he was there, dude. That was